is coming up. While the PlayStation Vita has been on the market for over 6 years now, I wanted to go ahead and talk about why I think you should get the handheld in 2018. This is my personal opinion, and it will provide an unbiased look on my reasoning why I think you should get the PlayStation Vita. But hey Sony, if you're watching this video, you want to go ahead and sponsor your boy? I'll take a bribe or two. I'm not scared. Let's do it. We'll look at the hardware, the price of the handheld, games, the category of games and genres, online multiplayer, apps, and other capabilities including remote play and the AR feature. I do plan on doing a full-length review on the handheld in the upcoming days, detailing even more and further than this video on everything about the PlayStation Vita. I just wanted to go ahead and highlight the big features and the big aspects of the Vita and why I think you should really consider it and get it in 2018. Let's first start off with the hardware and overlook of the handheld. The PlayStation Vita has a 5-inch 16:9 LCD screen. Its resolution is 960 by 544 with around 16 million colors, which is really impressive and arguably the best handheld in the market currently. PlayStation Vita can produce high quality games and high quality graphics. Also has a 1GB internal memory for those high quality saves. The handheld has 2 analog sticks, which is something highly requested from the PSP. It feels great and are really utilized best when playing first-person shooter games and third-person games where precision, movement, and accuracy is all needed. Followed by the 4-pad buttons to move around and used to select an arsenal of tools and weapons, the iconic PlayStation buttons, all with their distinct yet recognizable function. Beyond the physical buttons, the Vita has both a touchscreen and a rear touchpad where users can go ahead and use it for gameplay. I have found the touchscreen to be well responsive, and it might not be just like your iPhone X's touchscreen, it still manages to do the job when navigating the menu and using it in in-game combat for ultimate accuracy. The rear touchpad is used for a substitute for the lack of L2 and R2 buttons, but in all honesty, it's rarely ever used on PlayStation Vita games, and it's not really needed. It's more of a gimmick, it's more of a showcase of what the PlayStation Vita could do. The rear touchpad is used for the lack of L2 and R2 buttons when playing remote play, which we'll talk about later on, but it's not really a needed or a must-have thing. Furthermore, the PlayStation Vita does have 2 cameras, a front-facing camera that records 120 frames per second at 320 by 240, and the rear going at 60 frames per second at 640 by 480. Some games do utilize these cameras for minimal tasks and for minimal customization, like in Little Big Planet and Terraway for getting your face onto the game, and the rear camera is used for AR gaming, which we'll talk about later on. Overall, the PlayStation Vita's hardware is very impressive, one of the highest quality handhelds there is in the market currently right now. The feel of it feels great in the palm of your hands. Like, I've been super impressed. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. I have dropped my PlayStation Vita Slim multiple times and it hasn't broken or cracked, which I'm hoping it stays that way. But in all honesty, the PlayStation Vita just feels great. It's great material, its capabilities and all the functions that it has just in the hardware aesthetic of it is super impressive, and this is one of the biggest selling points that I would say going for the PlayStation Vita. The price of a brand new PlayStation Vita is currently around $200 US, and it fluctuates a bit online. Your best bet will be to buy one off of eBay or Amazon, as retails have stopped kind of selling this, which is a huge disappointment to be honest, but don't let that steer you away from buying the handheld. Used Vitas do run you cheap on eBay and Amazon, and random specials and discounts do pop up from time to time, from like, you know, Black Friday to summer deals and stuff like that, so always keep your eye out for those deals. The price of the memory sticks were quite high when released, and while they did come down in price over time, have risen again due to third parties being the only ones that carry them. An 8GB memory stick would run you around $20 when it was released, and an Amazon will currently run you for around $24, which becomes very expensive as you go for more gigabytes. Because trust me, you're going to need a lot more gigs when it comes to those saves and when you want to go ahead and save PlayStation Network titles. This is the biggest category in this video, where a lot of gamers online claim that the PlayStation Vita has no games. The opposition claim that the Vita has no games when presented with the list of over 1,000 games available, proceed to claim that there are no good games. I am here to tell you as a fan and as a critic that the PlayStation Vita indeed has a plethora of amazing high quality games from different genres that you can go ahead and choose from. I have made a good amount of videos detailing my favorite games on the handheld of my top 10 series, which I do from time to time. Games including Killzone Mercenary, Persona 4 Golden, Uncharted Golden Abyss, Freedom Wars, Little Big Planet, Need for Speed, and you might make fun of me, but yeah, I like it, Minecraft on the PlayStation Vita. The genres available on the handheld include everything from FPS to racing to sandbox to JRPG to third-person action adventures and to platforms. You can go ahead and check the list for yourself. Link in the description of the list of all the games that are currently available on the PlayStation Vita. And if I were to make a list of all of them just one by one, I would have to make a video like Mr. Beast for 10 hours plus, and I don't think I'm up for that challenge. The best part of the PlayStation Vita is that it doesn't only play retail PS Vita games, but also selected PSN titles like Hotline Miami, Terraria, and The Binding of Isaac. Some games are cross-buy enabled, meaning that if you buy the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4 version of that game, you can go ahead and download it for the PlayStation Vita courtesy free. Additionally, you can go ahead and play a selected amount of PSP and PS1 classic games via the PlayStation Store. Prices vary for each game, of course, but can be matched to the likings of the PlayStation Vita's control configuration. There are also games known as minis, which are bite-sizable games that are found on the likings of the Apple Store and the Android Store, which are inexpensive and sometimes do come free. If you still feel unconvinced, check out my top listed PlayStation Vita games, and I will be working on brand new videos of different games, including in different lists, in different categories, in different genres. There's a lot of games to be played on the PlayStation Vita, from the Vitas to the PSPs to the PlayStation 1s to the minis to the PlayStation Network titles. There's a lot of category and plethora of games to be played. I will say the PlayStation Network titles, personally, in my experience, are more at home and play well on the PlayStation Vita in comparison to the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4. One notable game would be Hotline Miami. I played them on all systems, and I would say that the PlayStation Vita is where I always come back to. Something about the customization of being personal to your handheld and just kind of being more, having that connection, I feel, with that game is really cool. Having some headphones, some earphones, whatever it is, with that music and that soundtrack gives it that customization feeling that you could only get in the PlayStation Vita's experience. If you're new to the PlayStation family and have recently bought a PlayStation 4, then you know you have to pay to play online. Note that the PlayStation Vita does not charge you to play online via the PlayStation Network. Once you've created your free PlayStation Network account, you can go ahead and play with your friends online, like in Killzone Mercenary, Call of Duty Black Ops, Freedom Wars, PlayStation All-Stars, Little Big Planet, and yes, this includes Minecraft completely free instead of having to pay like you do on PlayStation 4. Additionally, you can go ahead and send messages to friends and random people you've encountered online, have a friends list of around 2,000 people total, and be able to go ahead and do crossover chat, which allows users to talk via their microphone without having to play the same game. It's a great way to keep in touch and also goof around via installs, which it doesn't get more gaming than that. Stepping off from the gaming aspect of the PlayStation Vita, you can go ahead and look into downloading apps for the handheld. Apps include Netflix, Hulu, Twitch, Crackle, Twitter, TuneIn, and there's even a weather app which tells you the forecast, which is, kind of cool looking out for you. You can use the included media apps, which include watching movies, listening to music, taking photos, and a good internet browser, which you can go ahead and use to access YouTube's mobile version of that, because Sony once had the YouTube app, but they decided to go ahead and remove that from the PlayStation Store, which is unfortunate. But hey, you can still watch your boy on the PlayStation Vita via the web browser, which is always fun. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Personally, I've used Netflix, Hulu, and the Twitch app, which I feel are well implemented for the handheld. You should definitely check it out if you have their subscription or if you have a free account. If you own a PlayStation 4, you can actually connect the Vita to your PlayStation 4 and essentially have access to almost all the content, including music, apps, PSN games, and almost all the PlayStation 4 games that are on your PlayStation 4. This means that you can go ahead and play Killzone on your PlayStation Vita. Unfortunately, I will say that the connection can be super slow at times, thus interrupting the gameplay, making it a non-enjoyable experience for most of the time that I've used it. Remote play is honestly a way to showcase a feature rather than something useful or something you will use long term. Same idea goes with the AR features. Some games like Little Big Planet and Little Deviants utilize the rear camera for the AR feature and showcase a different creative way, but honestly, it's not really needed for the PlayStation Vita, and you could remove it completely and you wouldn't even miss anything from it, honestly. It was just more of a way to showcase the capabilities that the PlayStation Vita has with remote play and AR. But moving forward in 2018, there's not a single game that I would say that I used it, but rather just kind of like, oh, look what I can do, which is true to a lot of games, including the 3DS, which you could use AR, but it's not a thing that many people use. To conclude, I personally love the PlayStation Vita. I think it's the best handheld ever created. The price point of the handheld is really good, but I wish that the memory sticks did come down in price, or at least more accessible for people to buy. The category of games is beyond anything that I've seen for a handheld, including the PSP. Again, I would advise you to check out the links for all the games available on the PlayStation Vita, which again include the PS Vita titles, include the PSN titles, PSP, PS1, and a selection of minis that are all utilized and able to be played on the PlayStation Vita. Online multiplayer is an added bonus where you can go ahead and trash talk respectfully, because it is 2018 after all. Hashtag respect. The apps, the overall feel of the PlayStation Vita, and obviously the category and plethora of games that can be played is beyond anything. You might say that the PlayStation Vita is dead because there's not a AAA title coming out anytime soon that I know, but I will say that the library that it currently has is exceptional. Having access to PSP and PS1 games is phenomenal. Having access to even minis, apps, and be able to watch movies, stream movies, play PlayStation Now, all these other features I will discuss in the review later on are enough for me to, I kind of want to repurchase a PlayStation Vita right now is what I'm saying. I like it that much. I think that the games that it currently has is a great access to it. If you want to be friends with me, you can go ahead and do that via the PlayStation Vita. I'll be more active on my PlayStation Vita now that I have more time to play. And just shoot me a message, shoot me an invite. We'll definitely get some Minecraft or some Killzone or whatever it is going down. And I'm just a big fan of it, I guess, I would say. There are some defaults to it that I would say. There's a lot of, I would say, gimmicks when it comes to the rear touchpad, when it comes to some of these features. But I would say that overall, the PlayStation Vita does deserve at least a consideration for 2018. And at most, a purchase with a couple of games and stuff like that. But this has been Fever Gaming signing off. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Make sure to check out that giveaway that I'm doing, and I'll definitely catch you guys on the next video. And no, it won't be another 6 months. I don't know why you guys keep saying that.